Kash Patel, Trump sycophant, Trump advisor over the years, guy who has like eyes that I think are about this. They look like one of those nectar bats. You ever seen those cave nectar bats whose eyes are like that? He looks like that every moment. I kind of feel like laser beams are going to come out of his eyes, like from The Boys, if you watch that show, which, by the way, is doing a great job of parroting the Trump administration. You should watch it. But Kash is really upset. You see, this man who was the point person for Devin Nunes to undercut the Russia probe by the FBI with a fake memo, who was still put on Trump's national security staff against all advice of all officials who were not Trump sycophants, and was installed at the Pentagon in November of 2020, a weird time after you just lost an election, as the chief of staff to the acting Secretary of Defense, Christopher Miller, with the obvious role, and more will come out, obviously, with the January 6th hearings, to, well, be behind a coup. His level of planning in it, considering what he did with the Devin Nunes memos, I'm sure is very vast. We don't know everything yet because the January 6th committee hasn't given us all the information yet. What we do know is this Trump sycophant was put in a position right after Trump lost the election, leading up to the coup on January 6th, and was at the Department of Defense, which held back from sending in troops for the first couple hours. He is knee-deep in all of this. But now he's really upset because he can cause violence where people die, like on January 6th. He can say, as he's claimed, that Donald Trump has the right to declassify anything just by looking at it. Kind of like those laser eyes we were talking about. Boom, declassified. Anything. Nuclear technology, I suppose, which he stole from and has at Mar-a-Lago or had there, wanted to transfer to Saudi Arabia and may have. We'll find that out too. Trump can just declassify anything he wants. So I don't understand what Kash is so upset about. I mean, he's upset because his name was not redacted from these documents that were released. And now he's going to get threats. And oh my God, it's going to be tough because anybody's going to waste their time going after Kash Patel, which I'll say yet again. Obviously, people, we believe in nonviolent protest. But it's amazing, right? He's part of this group of people who purposely turned over the warrant unredacted to Truth Social, I believe it was, and Breitbart to be published and expose the names of the FBI agents who just did their job and raided Donald Trump, Trump's home/hotel/Russian magnate palace, formerly filled with bed bugs and underground tunnels to the beach. Everybody has underground tunnels. That's a normal thing. And of course, so Kash Patel doing the dirty work of Donald Trump is perfectly happy to have those FBI agents' lives put in danger. Judge Reinhardt, who of course also was attacked constantly by Republicans when they said that he was a Democrat, even though he had given money to Newsmax. He had literally donated money to Newsmax. They're crazier than a... We'll keep it clean. So Kash Patel said, and his ilk claim this guy's a Democrat. He's Jewish. I'm sure that has nothing to do with their attacks, and they had to end up canceling his temple, his shul, as they call it, because they were scared there was going to be a bomb and going to be an attack. There were threats. And we can go on all the way back to Christine Blasey Ford. I mean, you know, Brian Schatz, Chris Murphy, these guys put up the threats. They get Shannon Watts of Moms Demand Action, shares them. Kurt Bardella, former Republican who's turned Democrat. And I do sometimes. I've gotten numerous death threats because of these kinds of people. But Kash Patel is now really upset. Anybody else doesn't matter, right? They're fair game. And in fact, Republicans have gone out of their way to try to get these folks flattened. Of course, that's what Trump was doing when he was calling for Mike Pence to be a man and stand up and not to fail him. And that was a couple minutes before the crowd surged forward. I'm sure there was no connection on January 6th where Mike Pence could have been hanged and Nancy Pelosi, who they were calling out for to be hanged, that guy with the ridiculous name Guy Refit, who had the zip ties, was looking for Nancy Pelosi and other members of Congress. Had they been caught, they would have been hanged. And that's, Kash Patel, he just seems all broken up about that. But, you know, when it's him, it's a whole different thing. So now he's claiming persecution. But you can't claim two things. You can't say Donald Trump can declassify anything, which means any of our names, and then cry when your name shows up in something, right? Either it's too redacted or not redacted enough. Donald Trump says there's too many redactions. There need to be fewer in there that would prove his innocence. I'm sure it's more just BS, the usual Donald Trump blubbery. Kash Patel, though, he wants more, not anyone else, just himself. He's just the kind of joke official that rose to prominence, who never could have made it in a past Republican administration, certainly not a Democratic one, and rose to prominence, this guy who failed up, this clown, who ended up in national security and defense positions. God knows what secrets he found out. God knows what he's shared with people. And I hope the January 6th Commission gets to the bottom of it. In the meantime, cry me a river.